Tile hand. I live in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm going to be tying a Ray Bergman style wet fly. We're going to be tying this on a size 6 wet fly hook, and when we get done, hopefully we'll have a wet fly you can go fishing with. These are real good flies for bluegills, bass in this neck of the woods. These are also real good flies for trout. I have had a little bit of success fishing with these for bass, not a lot, but I haven't been targeting bass, so we'll live with them with the bass and or the bluegills and the crappies. This is a Goose Feather, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take slips from the left side and slips from the right side, and I'm going to make a tail. So I'm going to match these up and match them for length and make our tail. This is the fibers from the left side, that'll be on the far side of the hook. Fibers from the right side, and those will go on the near side of the hook. For the tail length, I want it to be near the length of the shank, so I measure that with my right hand. Then I'll just put my left hand right at that spot, set it right on top of the hook shank, pinch it, drop it down, and you see that when I put pressure on the thread, that pops the tail of those goose slips up. And I'll take about 3 wraps to hold that down. And you can see I have a split tail there. Next, we're going to rib this fly, and I've got mylar tinsel, which is gold on one side and silver on the other side.
There is not a week that goes by that I don't drop it.
I will tie this in with the silver facing the hook, and I'll take a wrap just to hold that, and then I'm going to use, I've got orange handy, we'll use orange here. This is orange silk, or orange floss would work. And I will attach that the same way. I'll just slide it up under there, pull it back.
This conversation may spark me to do it this spring. For some reason,
And I want to get all those fibers over on the far side of the hook. And now I'm just going to wrap my thread to the front of the hook, and I'll keep all those fibers under there so I can create a smooth body when I wrap my silk. I want to take my thread forward in side-by-side flat wraps, so I spin my thread counterclockwise to take the twist out of it. And I'll find a spot for my head up here, and I'll stop, come in here, and trim all this stuff out. Now I'm going to wrap the silk forward. And I'll come over the top, reach underneath and grab it with my left hand. And we'll work our silk up to the front. I overlap it just a hair on each turn. And that hair is a technical measurement. And we'll just wrap this up to the tie-off point. And then I'll take 2 wraps of thread, tie it off, and we'll trim it off. Then what I'll do, because silk and floss has a tendency to be kind of slippery, we'll put a 2-turn whip finish on there. Leave the thread. Now I'm going to take my tinsel and I'm going to make 5 wraps of tinsel on this body. My 3rd wrap should come up right in the middle of the hook shank. If it doesn't, I can always start over. And on the 6th wrap, we'll tie it down. I'll cut the tinsel off. Then I will take my thread and I'll wrap all this down. And since I'm done with the white thread, we'll whip finish that, clip it off, And now I'm going to attach my black thread. My head is going to be black. I'll cover up all my white thread with the black, and we'll tie in a throat. For the throat, I use schlappen, or schlappen, however you want to pronounce it. And I'll reach up in here and grab 30 or 40 fibers. I want it all to be the same length. And then I can pull them or I can cut them. It doesn't matter, but we'll cut these. I'm going to tie these in as a throat. So I'll measure them for length. I want them to come back not all the way to the hook, the bend of the hook, but I want them to be right in that general vicinity. So I'll take a soft loop, take 3 wraps, pull that tight, and we have the throat tied in. All right, now for the wing, we use that same red goose that we used earlier, and I'll want fibers from the left side, and I want fibers from the right side. Now on this one, I'm going to make a married wing, which means I'm going to marry this red goose with some orange goose. And I'll come in here with my orange. That's the left side, so that goes right there. And we'll get some from the right side. And that'll go right on this side. Okay, now we'll marry these together. Now as long as I take these fibers from the same side of a quill, doesn't matter if it's goose, duck, turkey, Cory bustard, any bird, as long as you take these segments from the left side, they will marry together. Same thing with the right side. As long as I'm using right side fibers, they will marry together just like the left side. The one thing that I cannot do is I cannot use lefts and rights. They will not marry. Okay, now what we're going to do is we'll take our left side wing, hold it between my thumb and forefinger, grab the right side. I'll match the tips up.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
And go.
All right, what I've done is I've married the 2 sets of wings together. I now have them and they form a V. And what I want to do is I'll tie these in, and I want them to be on top of the hook shank. I want the length of my wing to come to right about the middle of the tail. So I'll set these right on top of the hook shank, come in with my left hand, pinch it, pull it down, and then I can come in here and grab the butts of this wing, take about 3 or 4 wraps, tease them, and they should be pretty close to right on top of the hook shank. I'm satisfied with that, so I'll come in here, I'll trim these off, and then we'll cover the head up with black thread. Again, I want that to be as flat as I can, so I'll spin my thread counterclockwise. And I'll come in here and I'll cover up all these wraps, make a nice head. And I'll come in here with my whip finish tool, and I'll finish off the head, trying to keep it as flat as possible. Come in here, we'll cut it. And that is a wet fly.